Hi guys, it's Jordan here, just giving you my little update for the vlogs. I guess this is just another little interim update to tell you what we're all doing after the great success of the Kickstarter. We can't thank you enough for all that, that's incredible. It's really going to help us to spring forward now and do all the things that we really want to do, so I just thought I'd give you a little update on the stuff that I'm going to be doing. Basically my goals are marketing and sound design for the game. So in terms of marketing, I'm going to be interacting with you guys, reaching out to new people, trying to build the communities, getting in touch with you and asking you what you want, what you don't like, what you like. Just going to continue to do that really on the Discord, on Facebook. Going to start building the Instagram a bit more because that's a great platform that we could be utilising. The Twitter is obviously doing really well. We're really quite overwhelmed by how good the Twitter community is in terms of liking and sharing our stuff, which is fantastic for the game. We really appreciate all the support that you give to us. So I'll be doing some more of that really, just reaching out to people, seeing what's going on, asking people what they want, what they don't want, that kind of thing. And then hopefully, as we go forward, we should be able to build a huge community for the game to be released to, because at the end of the day we want to create something that is really going to appeal to people and they're going to enjoy, and we want just, things to go well for everyone, including ourselves, because, it's one of those things. In terms of sound design, we're making the sewer level, which is exciting. Harry's going to start actually building it tomorrow, so I am currently making bits for it. I'm making rats. I'm kind of trying to create that ambience, that dark kind of contrast to the city level, which is quite bustly and almost upbeat in a sense. There's lots of life to it. The sewers is like completely different. It's very dark, anxious feeling. There's lots of unease in the air. It's going to be like some kind of foreboding feelings going on. Lots of like rats, the wet, damp, dankness of it, the very underground claustrophobic feel. That you would expect from sewers. So I've got the pleasure of making that as well, which I'm going to be doing today. As you can see here, I'll be doing it in my little studio. So yeah, thanks a lot for checking us out. Please come and get involved if you haven't already. If you see these videos, please go check us out on all our socials. I will most likely be reaching out to you and asking you about the game, what you're interested in, what you're not interested in, everything that's going on. So please get in touch and get involved. Thank you. Hey, what's going on guys? So I thought I would just do a little bit of a demonstration on how I go about doing some of my sound design stuff, because I know a few people have been asking about it, and it's obviously a really important part of the game. We really want to heavily focus on making the game as immersive as possible, having really good sound design, because that's the whole premise of the game really. So it's really important that we get it right, so it's something that we spend a lot of time on, and I've spent quite a considerable amount of days, weeks, months now just putting sound design together and making sure that it's good quality and stuff. So I thought I'd run through some of the stuff that I'm doing for the sewer. So as you can see here, I've got this mouse rat sound effect, but I really want to like kind of personalize it a bit more to the game and manipulate it a bit so that it's usable for the game. So I'm just going to show you basically what I would do. So I'm just going to cut it up. Yeah, this is the sound effect. So as you can hear, it's a mouse. It sounds just like a mouse. Basically what I tend to do is, for creatures and stuff that are triggered within the game, I want to do about 10 to 15 different samples so that they can be triggered randomly, because one of the main things that often a detracting factor from sound design in games is the fact that they'll only use 1 or 2 samples for each thing, and it makes the game feel as though it's quite repetitive, or these sound effects can become, they're quite funny or just annoying quite quickly, which is something that we really want to avoid. It's obviously quite immersion breaking as well, and the whole premise of our game is being fully immersed, which is something we really want to keep prominent and keep at the forefront. So I tend to do 10 to 15 samples for each creature or element, so that then they can trigger randomly, so there's not really any repetition and it gives you much more immersion. So what I would do is, I've got this sound effect now, I'm just going to go through and just cut this sample up into some smaller bits. I'm not too worried about the size or the length. I want them to be quite random. Some of them longer, some of them shorter, so that when they trigger they don't sound that similar. if they were all the same length, for example, they might start to sound similar even though the samples are slightly different. So I'm just going to go through and chop these up into a few different pieces. That's probably enough. Then I'm just going to make a little space between them all so that when I bounce them out, they're not all going to be clipping over each other. These are all going to be separate sound files, obviously. Some of them are about 10 seconds, some of them are a bit shorter, some are a bit longer. The main idea is that they are all different. So now that I've got those, I'm basically just going to go in, listen to the sounds and see what I can do with them to make them sound a bit different. So I'm thinking these mice, to me, I want to make them sound a bit girthier, a bit bigger and a bit more horrible sounding, so I'm just going to transpose them down a bit. So they sound a bit bigger, they've got a bit more of a lower timbre to them now, which is something that I was definitely after. Usually what I do is I like to go with an EQ and just check and get rid of any of this low end that you can see here that's unnecessary. You can see that most of the frequencies of the mouse are this high frequency band here, so I'm just going in and getting rid of all that low end that you don't need. Then I'm thinking, if the rats are quite often not on their own and I want to make it kind of sound like there's a group of them, it's kind of like dirty and dank feeling. Also, it helps to kind of enforce that feeling of the claustrophobia, of the reverberance of the sounds within the room. So I'm just going to grab like a ping pong delay, basically just going to make the rate really high, bring the feedback all the way down, and then the mix all the way down. So essentially now, instead of it just being one rat, it sounds like there's quite a few rats all in really close proximity, which is cool. I think that sounds pretty good. I don't know if you can hear that, it's quite a subtle thing, but it just adds a little bit more life to it as well and makes it a bit more personalised. So I'm pretty happy with this sound, so all we need to do now is... oh, wrong limiter. All we need to do now is just bring the level up so you can actually get it to Unity game, which is more useful for just putting straight into the game. So just going to boost the level up, just so it's just about to clip into the limiter, but not really. And then you can hear the final sound that I'm pretty happy with for the rats. They sound very good actually. The sample is really clean, so I didn't have to do too much to it, but I just wanted to manipulate it a little bit to make it more interesting. Also, I don't know if you've noticed in this project, but I've got two sets of 4 ambiences here, which are essentially just loops of ambiences which I've found or I've created and then I've resampled. I've transposed them on some of them to make them a bit lower and make a kind of ambience for the area or the level to give it a kind of mood. So for the sewers, there's lots of different ones. These are kind of like really low ambiences that have a mood feel, and then there's also a lot of dripping ones. There's a lot of kind of chains and far off distant cries and groans, because there's going to be some kind of horrible creatures in the sewers, which are going to be really interesting. So that's definitely going to be cool, and that's another part of the thing that I do. I make the ambiences as well as some of the more localized sources in the game. So yeah, that's just how I approach some of my sound design. This is something that I've been working on today, so I thought I'd show it to you. So yeah.